Welcome to the UrbanWise podcast. We're plunging into the world of smart cities today, and it's really far more than just the latest tech gadgets popping up on street corners.
Yeah, definitely.
This is about a fundamental reimagining of how our urban environments function, how we interact with them, and, ultimately how we live.
That's right. Think of it less as just adding digital layers to old systems.
Yeah.
It's more like designing cities maybe from the ground up sometimes with technology as a core component.
Right.
It fundamentally changes that relationship between people and their surroundings.
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to really get under the hood of this smart city phenomenon. We want to explore its core principles and uncover the profound influence it's having on urban living. We'll back it up with concrete examples and some really eye-opening stats.
Yeah, some of those numbers are quite something.
And you, our listener, you're likely experiencing this evolution firsthand, maybe seeing changes in your own city. You probably want a clear, insightful understanding of the key drivers without getting, bogged down in all the technical jargon.
And that's precisely what we're aiming for. A clear pathway through the complexities, highlighting what truly matters in this urban transformation.
Okay, let's unpack this then. When we talk about a smart city, what are the essential elements? It's not just about having loads of screens and sensors everywhere, is it?
No, not at all. At its core, a smart city uses information and communication technologies, ICT, so things like sensors, data networks, software platforms,
Right.
to gather and analyze data from all sorts of city systems. Traffic flow, energy use, waste collection, you name it.
Okay.
And the main goals: boost efficiency, drive down operational costs, and probably most importantly, elevate the quality of life for everyone living there.
Make things better, essentially.
Yeah, ultimately, it's about creating urban environments that are sustainable, sure, but also genuinely enjoyable places to live.
So the key is this constant loop. Data collection, analysis, leading to smarter decisions. Can you give us a specific example we can really sort of sink our teeth into?
Okay, let's take traffic congestion. Always a headache, right?
Tell me about it.
Well, smart traffic signal systems are a really big leap forward. Unlike the old fixed timing signals, these systems use real-time data.
From where? Sensors?
Yeah, sensors in the road, maybe even data from connected cars eventually. And they dynamically adjust the signal timings based on the actual traffic flow, right then and there.
So it adapts.
Exactly. And this adaptive approach, well, it can lead to pretty substantial reductions in congestion. Our sources suggest improvements of potentially up to 30%.
Wow, 30%.
Yeah, it's not just reacting to jams. It's about proactively managing the flow before it gets bad.
A potential 30% reduction, that's a massive impact on daily commutes and just the city running smoother overall. So it's this ability to sense and respond in real time that's a defining feature. Okay, beyond traffic, what other key features are we seeing pop up in these smart urban centers?
We can definitely point to several key areas. Let's start with smart infrastructure.
Okay.
This is really the foundational layer. It covers the essential physical systems that keep a city running: roads, bridges, public transport networks, that kind of thing.
And how does technology make that infrastructure smart?
Well, take San Francisco, for instance. They've put sensors into some of their road networks.
Right, I think I heard about that.
Yeah, they continuously monitor traffic patterns like volume, speed, maybe even what types of vehicles. This detailed data gets fed into systems that then optimize traffic like timings.
Connecting back to the signals.
Exactly. And it can even provide real-time info to drivers. The result: a reported 20% reduction in average commute times in some areas. That's a tangible daily benefit.
Yeah, 20% is noticeable. That really highlights how data can make the infrastructure we already have work much, much harder. What else falls under smart infrastructure?
Public transit systems are another huge part. Many smart cities are equipping their buses, their trains, with GPS and communication tech.
So you can track them?
Exactly. It allows for live updates on mobile apps. So you, as a commuter, you can see exactly when your next bus or train is actually going to arrive. Helps you plan better, less waiting around at the stop.
Right, less guesswork.
Yeah.
So it's about making the whole transport system more transparent and efficient for the user, which I guess leads naturally to our next point: enhanced mobility.
Precisely.
That seems like the practical outcome of smarter infrastructure and better information, right?
The main goal of enhanced mobility is just creating smoother, more efficient, more convenient ways for people to get around the city.
Makes sense.
Those real-time public transport apps are a perfect example, giving commuters the info they need to make better choices. but it goes beyond just the buses and trains.
Okay, like what? Can you give us another concrete example?
Sure, look at Seoul.
Yeah.
Over the last decade or so, they've developed some really sophisticated mobile apps.
Yeah.
These apps pull together real-time data on public transport schedules, yes, but also traffic conditions, even things like pedestrian flow. And they use all that to suggest the fastest, most efficient routes for people.
Wow, that's integrated.
It is. And this comprehensive approach has reportedly led to about a 15% decrease in overall travel times across the city.
15%. Over 10 years, that's significant.
It really is. It saves individuals a lot of time, obviously, but it also helps cut down on emissions and just makes the whole city run more efficiently.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, saving time, making travel easier. But we also need to think about the planet. How do smart cities tackle sustainable development?
Sustainability is absolutely central to the whole smart city idea. Cities are increasingly looking at technology as this powerful tool to help them go greener,
Right.
reduce their environmental footprint, promote, long-term ecological balance.
And we've got some real leaders in this space, haven't we? Cities really pushing the envelope.
We do.
Mm.
Copenhagen really stands out globally. They've got this incredibly ambitious commitment to be carbon neutral by 2025.
That's next year. Very ambitious.
It is. Their leadership in adopting green building standards, switching to renewable energy across the city, it shows a really holistic approach to sustainability.
Okay, so that's the big picture goal. How does technology specifically help them or other cities trying to be greener?
Well, think about something fundamental, like how a city manages its trash. Amsterdam has rolled out a smart waste management system.
How does that work? Sensors in the bins.
Exactly. Sensors embedded in public waste bins monitor how full they are in real time.
They're clever.
Yeah, and this data then lets them optimize the collection routes. The trucks only go where they're actually needed when they're needed.
Instead of just driving the same route every day.
Right. And this has apparently resulted in a 20% reduction in fuel consumption for their waste collection fleet. Plus, you get cleaner public spaces because the bins don't overflow as often.
That's a great practical example. Smarter waste collection, improving efficiency, and helping the environment. Okay, so we've looked at key features. Smart infrastructure, better mobility, sustainability, all leading to real benefits for people. Let's dig into those. First up was improved quality of life. How does all this tech translate into a better day-to-day for the average person?
Fundamentally, it often comes down to more convenience and easier access to essential services.
Okay.
Better digital connectivity enables things like telemedicine consultations. Barcelona is a good example here.
Virtual doctor visits.
Yeah. Residents can have appointments with healthcare providers virtually. That cuts down on unnecessary travel to clinics, saves time, and can actually improve health outcomes, especially for folks with limited mobility or maybe living further out.
That's a really clear win, technology directly making people's lives easier and potentially healthier. What about the money side? You mentioned increased economic opportunities.
Right. Investing in these smart city projects can actually be a pretty big engine for economic growth.
How so?
Well, cities that really embrace tech innovation and create these sort of collaborative environments tend to attract businesses and talent, especially in those high-growth tech sectors.
Like Austin.
Austin is a great example, yeah. They've seen reportedly over a 30% jump in tech-related jobs. Part of that is attributed to their strategic focus on smart city projects and the whole innovative vibe they foster.
Wow, a 30% job increase in tech. That's substantial. It shows how these initiatives can create a kind of positive feedback loop for innovation and economic development.
Exactly.
Okay, the final benefit we wanted to touch on was enhanced public safety. How are smart technologies helping make cities safer?
Well, they offer some powerful tools for both preventing crime and responding faster to emergencies.
Okay.
For example, some cities have deployed smart surveillance systems, cameras, sensors in areas known for higher crime rates. And some studies indicate this has led to a decrease in crime rates, maybe by as much as 25% in those specific areas.
So it's not just watching, it's analyzing.
Right. It's often combined with data analytics to spot potential risks and help police or other services deploy resources more strategically. It's trying to be more proactive.
More proactive rather than just reacting after something happens. Makes sense.
Exactly. And that proactive idea extends to emergency response, too. Smart cities are developing these sophisticated algorithms.
Okay.
They can analyze real-time data traffic, incident reports, locations of responders to optimize how emergency services are dispatched. The goal is faster response times, which, can ultimately save lives.
Faster help when you really need it. Okay, these benefits are definitely compelling, better quality of life, economic boosts, more safety. But like any huge technological shift, there've got to be challenges, right? What are the big hurdles in implementing these smart city solutions?
Oh, absolutely. You're right. One of the biggest and probably most talked about concerns revolves around data privacy.
Yeah, that seems obvious.
Smart cities, by their very nature, rely on collecting and analyzing enormous amounts of data, including personal data. And people, quite rightly, have concerns. How is this information being stored? How is it being used? Who's protecting it?
Big questions.
Huge. So, ensuring transparency and putting really robust data protection frameworks in place is absolutely critical for building and keeping public trust.
Privacy is definitely top of mind.
Yeah.
What other major challenges are cities grappling with?
Another really crucial one is the digital divide.
Meaning not everyone has the same access.
Exactly. Access to technology, reliable internet, devices, and also the skills to actually use it effectively. Well, that's not evenly spread across the population.
Right.
So there's a real risk that smart city initiatives could accidentally make existing socioeconomic gaps even wider if we're not careful.
So the benefits might only go to some people.
Potentially, yeah. So efforts to bridge that gap, things like digital literacy programs, making access affordable, they're essential if we want equitable urban development. Everyone needs the chance to benefit.
That's a really vital point about inclusivity, making sure smart cities work for all residents. Okay, and lastly, you mentioned infrastructure costs. Putting all this tech in place, upgrading old systems, that sounds expensive.
It definitely is. The upfront costs and the ongoing maintenance, too, for deploying and running smart city technologies can be substantial.
Yeah, I bet.
Cities often face tight budgets, lots of competing priorities, so finding the money can be a real challenge. Exploring different funding models, maybe public-private partnerships, can be a key strategy here. It helps overcome the financial hurdles and maybe brings in private sector expertise and investment, too.
Right, sharing the load. So huge potential, but navigating privacy, equity, and cost is absolutely crucial. Okay, let's widen the lens now. Let's look at the global landscape. You've mentioned a few leaders already. Who else is doing interesting things?
Globally, yeah, cities like Singapore consistently pop up near the top of smart city rankings.
What makes them stand out?
They have this really comprehensive sensor network across the island, feeding data into integrated systems. It's led to significant improvements like that 20% boost in public transport efficiency we touched on earlier. That comes from real-time monitoring and adaptive management. Very data-driven.
Impressive integration. And Amsterdam, you mentioned them with waste management. What else makes them a notable example?
Amsterdam has taken a very deliberate, data-driven approach to urban planning overall. They use insights from data across loads of different city functions.
Like what?
Well, informing how they design and manage public spaces, transport networks, utilities like energy. The ultimate goal is always enhancing the quality of life for residents. They've also been pioneers in things like smart grids for energy and pushing sustainable ways to get around.
Okay, so we have these established leaders, but is this trend catching on in, say, emerging economies too? Or is it mainly a rich city thing?
No, absolutely not. We're seeing really exciting smart city developments popping up in emerging markets too, often tailored very cleverly to their specific local needs and contexts.
Oh, interesting. Examples.
Well, in Nairobi, for instance, they've launched some innovative digital transport platforms. These are helping to streamline their often complex public bus routes. The Matatus is making commuting more predictable and efficient for a huge number of people.
Using tech to solve a very local problem.
Exactly. And think about Curitiba in Brazil. They've actually got a long history of really forward-thinking urban planning, long before smart city was a buzzword. Their efficient, sustainable bus rapid transit and waste management systems are great examples of smart, practical solutions working effectively in diverse environments.
That's really encouraging. It shows these principles can be adapted globally. Okay, looking ahead now, the future of smart urban living. What's next? What key trends are likely to shape the next phase?
Well, one of the most transformative trends, I think, will undoubtedly be the deeper integration of artificial intelligence AI.
AI, of course.
AI has this incredible ability to analyze the truly vast and complex data sets that smart cities generate in ways that humans just can't, or not quickly enough anyway.
Right.
This really opens up possibilities for more proactive, even predictive management of city services.
So AI could help us move beyond just reacting to things happening now to actually anticipating and maybe preventing problems before they happen.
Precisely. Think about traffic again. AI could analyze historical patterns, look at weather forecasts, maybe factor in real-time event data.
Like a big concert getting out?
Exactly. And predict potential congestion hotspots, then automatically adjust traffic signals in advance to try and mitigate those jams.
Wow.
And we'll likely see similar predictive applications popping up in energy distribution, water management, maybe even public safety resource allocation.
That sounds like a pretty big step towards a much more responsive, efficient city.
Hey.
What other key trends do you see on the horizon?
I think a greater emphasis on citizen engagement is going to be crucial.
Getting residents involved?
Yes. As smart cities evolve, it'll be increasingly important to empower residents, to let them actively participate in the decisions that shape their city. Technology can provide the platforms for that direct engagement.
How would that actually work? How would it look?
Well, we're already seeing some examples, like participatory budgeting platforms.
Where people vote on how money is spent.
Yeah, residents can propose ideas for local projects, maybe a new park, road repairs, community initiatives, and then vote on which ones get funded. These kinds of tools can build a much stronger sense of community ownership and make sure city development is more democratic, more responsive to what people actually need and want.
That makes a lot of sense. Building trust and ensuring tech serves the community. Okay, what's the final piece of the future puzzle you see?
I'd say it's the need for continuous adaptation.
Meaning things will keep changing.
Constantly. The pace of tech innovation isn't slowing down, right?
Yeah.
And city challenges, climate change, population growth, inequality, they're always evolving, getting more complex.
Yeah.
So smart cities can't just be built and then left alone. They have to embrace this mindset of agility, be open to constantly integrating new technologies, learning from data, and adapting to tackle these emerging challenges. It's about ensuring continued progress towards being more efficient, more sustainable, and ultimately more livable in the long run.
So it's definitely not a finish line, more like an ongoing journey of learning and improving.
Exactly.
Well, this has been an incredibly insightful deep dive into the very multifaceted world of smart cities. We've covered a ton of ground, from the basic definition and key tech features through the real benefits, the challenges that come with it, some great global examples, and these exciting future trends. It seems abundantly clear that strategically weaving technology into our cities holds immense potential. Potential to make them more efficient, more sustainable, and ultimately just better places to live for all of us.
Indeed. And while the tech itself is fascinating, it's so important to remember that the real success of smart cities will depend on how well we handle the tricky parts. The ethical questions, ensuring fair access for everyone, and actively bringing citizens into the conversation about shaping their own urban future.
Absolutely critical points. And on that note, here's a final thought for you, our listener, to mull over. As we consider this complex dance between rapid technological advancement on one side and our fundamental needs for individual privacy and community well-being on the other, what specific future aspects of smart city development do you personally find the most promising? And perhaps what aspects raise the biggest questions or concerns for you? It's a crucial conversation, one we all need to be part of as these smarter cities continue to evolve around us. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.